God's mercy and the fragile world we live in. Of the 99 beautiful names of God, it is Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim that we use most frequently in our prayers and dua. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim are both derived from the same Arabic root word Rahmah, meaning mercy, compassion. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim are usually translated as the beneficent, the merciful. Oh, the most gracious, the most merciful. Most of us, unfortunately, take God's mercy and compassion for granted. But if we pause for a moment and reflect on the depth and extent of God's mercy, we will be astonished beyond words. The Quran frequently draws our attention to the world of nature. So let us consider for a moment the fragile world in which we live. We hear about the depletion of the ozone layer, the dangers of pollution, the need to preserve a sustainable environment for our children, and so on. Numerous books and TV programs about nature and the universe arouse our curiosity, our sense of wonder. We live in the center of a violent universe, ever-changing, constantly in motion. We are surrounded by forces that are so precariously balanced that the smallest shift could kill us all. Some years ago, the comet Schumacher-Levy plunged into Jupiter and exploded with the energy of several million atom bombs. In astronomical terms, a difference of just a few degrees would have set it on a collision course with our planet Earth. Indeed, the scientists say that human life is possible only on the very narrowest of margins. To illustrate just how narrow is that margin, let us take this example. Imagine that I have an orange wrapped in plastic cling film. If you can imagine that this orange is our planet Earth, then the thickness of the cling film is the atmosphere, the air we breathe. Most people think that the Earth is solid, but below us, much thinner than the skin of this orange, is the thin crust on which our continents are placed. Under that crust are thousands of miles of boiling molten rock, oozing like thick porridge around a solid iron core. In size, all living creatures are like the specks of dust and bacteria that cover the surface of this orange. You cannot even see it without a microscope, just as astronauts in space cannot actually see any life on Earth without special equipment. Just imagine, a few miles below our feet, like under the skin of this orange, we have thousands of miles of boiling liquid, oceans of molten lava, above us a thin skin of breathable air, only a few miles deep. Above that, nothing, a complete vacuum. And the sun, without which life would not be possible, is 93 million miles away. But what does that mean, 93 million miles? We cannot even make a sense of such a distance. It is just 93 followed by 6 zeros. But let us make it easier. If this orange was our planet Earth, then the sun would be a ball the height of this room, and the ball would be about 55 miles away. The slightest tilt of the Earth toward the sun in summer, and we complain that we are unpleasantly hot. Then a slight tilt away from the sun in winter, and we are freezing cold. Measure the distance of that tilt, a mere 4,000 miles compared with 93 million miles to the sun, and you will see that we boil or freeze within a range of just 1/5000th%. That is not 1%, not 100th%, but a mere 1/5000th%. Now, I'm not a scientist and I'm not an astronomer, but if we reflect on this simple fact, we are left astonished. All life on this planet Earth is suspended precariously on the thin crust of a huge ball of boiling lava, covered by a thin membrane of oxygen, floating through space, passing deadly showers of meteors and comets, and all kinds of deadly radiation. The mind just boggles. Any rock larger than about 1 or 2 miles thick, striking the Earth head-on, like the comet Schumacher-Levy that struck Jupiter, would wipe out all life on this planet. The scientists and astronomers tell us that we living creatures survive on this planet only by the narrowest of margins. Statistically, the dangers are so great, they say, and the mathematical probabilities of our survival are so small that we should really not have been here at all. We Muslims, as believers, would say that our creation and continued existence on this planet are due entirely to the mercy of God. Glorified and exalted is He. The Quran clarifies this point in many beautiful ayat. For example, meaning, see they not what is before them and behind them, of the sky and the earth. If we wished, we could cause the earth to swallow them up, or cause a piece of the sky to fall upon them. Verily, in these a sign for every devotee that turns to Allah in repentance. Surah Saba, Ayah 9. Verily, Allah grasped the heavens and the earth, lest they should move away from their places. And if they were to move away from their places, there is not one that could grasp them after Him. Truly, He is ever most forbearing, oft forgiving. Surah Fatir, Ayah 41. And further, in the same surah, in Ayah 44 and Ayah 45, we read, meaning, do they not travel through the earth and see what was the end of those before them, though they were superior to them in strength? Nor is Allah to be frustrated by anything whatever in the heavens or on earth, for He is all-knowing, all-powerful. If Allah were to punish man according to what they deserve, He would not leave on the back of the earth a single living creature, but He gives them respite for a stated term. Next time we look up to the starry skies, let us think about those powerful forces that surround us, forces that keep our very existence poised on a knife edge, and let us thank God for His grace and mercy.